everyone, and welcome back to Life Unfiltered with me, Jax Van Rooyen. Before I head out to the pool, we are having the most amazing weather up where I stay in sunny SA, and so I'm going to capitalize on that. But I thought before I do, let's have our weekly check-in. It has been a really challenging week. Someone whom I love dearly has lost someone incredibly close to them, which, when we go through that together, calls into stark contrast the finiteness of life and forces us to reflect on where we are, what we're doing, and kind of just answer the question of, are we truly living on purpose with purpose, right? And what is the quality of our relationships like? What are we investing where are we investing our time? Who are we investing our time with? And my heart breaks. I'm often so busy wasting time on things that don't matter. And that's coming from someone who I think I'm so self-actualized, honestly, and I can be quite petty at times too. So that's just me being vulnerable for a minute, guys. So, and then someone whom I care about deeply loses someone in their inner circle, and I have to ask myself, truly, which mountains am I choosing to die on in my life? Which relationships am I contending for that matter? Am I engaging in small-minded conversations? And am I driving forward purpose in life, or am I not? And the question is, the answer to those questions for myself is that I'm failing in a lot of them. In some instances, I'm winning, but the reality is that I'm failing. Oh. There are a lot of areas right now where I'm not necessarily winning, and having gone through, or having been, countenanced with death so starkly this weekend, I've had to realize that I have a choice today to pull myself up and aim higher or not. And I think we all have that choice every day. May we not wait until faced with death before we choose to pull ourselves up and aim higher and live with greater integrity and add meaning and purpose and love in the world. May we choose that every day as a standard of being and as a way of operating. I think I have allowed the routine of life to lull me into, I don't know what, a comatose state of being. And so what? Compromise? I don't know. Anyway, so having gone through that this weekend, I expect more of myself moving forward. And I don't know if I feel like I'm waffling a little bit, but I think if you know me, you know what I'm talking about. And so I feel like I need to do better. And on that note, so as a single parent, the father of my children is not necessarily the most active parent. And so, and I don't necessarily have a problem with that, because he's not, in my opinion, the most amazing human or the most amazing example of what a parent should be. At least, his actions haven't expressed consistency, integrity, and all of the things that one would hope a well-rounded, meaningful contributor to society would want to express, or parent would want to express. And so he's been absent from his daughter's life for the last year, and it's taken its toll on her. She's 8, and she has been desperate for him. And so the last interaction she's had with him was months ago, where he was announcing that he was having another baby, and then we had to go through her meeting a new brother, and then that relationship failed, and so she lost this new brother that she had gotten excited about. And then she went through a season of him making plans with her and not showing up, canceling number 99, and she went through all of that. She went through therapy, having to deal with all of the violence from the home we left, and so eventually she's just gone through a season where it's become really hard for her. She's missed him so much. And so something happened last week, and it got to a point where I asked her if she'd like me to reach out to him again and see if he would see her, knowing that he could cancel, because that's the reason I had stopped reacting. In the last six or 7 months, I think he'd sent 1 or 2 texts saying, could he see her? But, he'd send a text and that would be it. And I have not reacted to the texts because he would make plans and not show up. And the devastation that left behind. Anyway, so I had the conversation with Lily, who's my daughter, and I said, Lou, are you prepared, because you're missing Dad so much, are you prepared to risk making plans with him to fetch you and for him to not show up? Because I'm 100% here for you, and if you want to see your dad, I'm never gonna stand in your way, because that's your dad, and I get it. But you can't be oblivious to the fact that he might not show up. And so she's asked me to reach out. And so I did. And we made plans. And, they made plans to see each other today. But I think what hurts me for her is that he hasn't seen her in months. The last time they saw each other, he was going through a breakup, and the new brother, the baby, was moving. She had just gone through all of that. And today is the first time he's seeing her after all of the absence, no phone calls, no texts. And the first thing he's doing is introducing her to yet another girlfriend. And so I asked him when we were planning this thing, and I said, please, could you, and he had me on speaker with a new girlfriend, and I said, could you just put her first? Could it just not be about you? And with all the respect in the world, I'm completely indifferent about your relationships. I'm completely indifferent. But this little girl has yearned for time with her dad, and she just needs to be number one right now. She just needs to have that time, that validation, and he just couldn't give that to her. And so I had a complete little meltdown about that yesterday. And as a mom, I had gone through all of these scenarios. So do I helicopter in and try and land it in a different way? Do I position it in a way to soften the blow with Lily? But, I kind of had a conversation with my dad about it, because we've walked our own journey, and I'll just take you guys through that. And we've healed, right? And we're in a process of healing, and he's gone through his own journey, and we have committed that we are breaking the cycle. And so the reality is, no matter how much I want to protect my daughter, the best thing I can do here in this situation is be strong enough to hold space that if and when she gets hurt, I am here to comfort her. But I cannot shelter her from the truth anymore. The reason I left was because of the violence and the abuse and the inconsistencies and all of that, and because I wanted a better life for us. And I can no longer shelter Lily from that truth. And so, as much as it breaks my heart when she is shattered every time she is disillusioned by him, all I can do is be strong enough to be her safe harbor and hopefully point her to the ultimate father that will become her safe harbor. And it's hard. It's so hard. It's so hard, guys. And this really is life unfiltered, because I don't have this part of my life figured out with her. You know, I trust that the next person for me will be our person. That's a lot of pressure. But it is what it is. And that's why I'm taking so much time to make sure that it's the right person. And I'm not going from relationship to relationship to relationship, because I'm responsible for a human being. It sounds so terrible when you say my life is over. I don't mean my life is over, but before I had the opportunity to live a carefree life before I had children. Once I made the decision to have children, they became my primary responsibility. And so until that child matriculates and leaves the house, her well-being is my primary responsibility. And so that is a very, very key factor in every decision that I make, even in my relationships. Hypothetical ones at this point, you know? And I just think that was a really hard realization for me to have to go through, because my instinct, and I think any mother's instinct, is to want to protect their kids. We become feral. We all become feral. And I've walked a journey with my son where I've had to put up boundaries and not rescue. And he's become this incredible, strong, independent young man. And with Lily, it's different. I can't rescue her in a very different way. I can't rescue her by sheltering her. I've got to create a space for her to see, understand, and then be the person that, you know, can pick up the pieces, I suppose. Yeah, it's been one heck of a week, guys, just from an emotional point of view. I have questioned the quality of my friendships, not from my friends' point of view, but from my investment into those friendships, and then the reciprocation. Like, what are those intents? Because I've been countenanced with death. I have questioned what I've been preoccupied with. What am I spending my time with? The most valuable asset we have is so finite. It's the resource we have that is the most finite, and that's time. What are we spending it on? I don't think we spend it. We're wasting time. I waste so much time. And then when I'm faced with death, we're forced to look at where there's holes in our buckets, where time is being wasted. And so I've had to admit to myself this weekend that there is work that needs to be done in terms of my focus, in terms of the quality of the relationships, in terms of who I want to spend time with, in terms of what I want to spend time on, in terms of who I, continue to want to become. And then from a mom point of view, it was just a hard weekend of having to really take a step back and trust Abba to really know that I'm a steward of the daughter he's given me, and that ultimately his divine providence is at work and that he has her. And that's, it's been a lot. It's been a lot this week, on this weekend. So hopefully in sharing this messy, emotional week with you guys, there's some nugget of encouragement for some of you. And we don't know what the person to the left or right of us is going through. So let's always aim to be kind and to be gentle. Let's proceed with a renewed awareness around the fact that time is so finite and so precious. And people and relationships are the only things that truly, truly matter, not stuff, not things. And unkind words we can't take back. And if we're investing in superficial relationships, it's such a waste of time. And as we try to steward these little lives we've been given, may we have the grace, the knowledge, and the strength to do so, with wisdom, and with just God's hand of protection and provision. Anyway, love you all madly. Till next week. Bye.